I want to welcome in our next community guest, Jeff Pinski with the Jewish Community Council of Erie. Thanks so much for being here on First at 4.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're talking about an event that's coming up to mark the annual Holocaust Memorial Observance, and you have a pretty big speaker who's coming to town.
Yeah, we did. This year we've invited the regional deputy director for the Anti-Defamation League out of the Philadelphia region. And the reason we did this is there's obviously a coalition between the Holocaust that happened 80 years ago and what's going on now, an alarming increase of anti-Semitism around the country and around the world. You know, there's around 2% of the population of the United States are Jewish, and yet over 50% of the hate crimes are against Jews. I just saw that
statistic. Wow. It's like a PSA that I saw running on TV just this week, and that's startling. It really is. Talk a little bit about your community outreach and what your organization does for the Jewish members in our community. Yeah,
the Jewish Community Council of Erie was basically a sort of a social service organization for many years. Well, now our focus is on Holocaust and Holocaust education, and we've been able to send dozens and dozens of buses, and these are luxury buses, these aren't school buses, packed with middle and high school students of public schools and parochial schools to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. And we do this free of charge. And it's a life-altering experience for many of these students to get that understanding. And we're seeing a lot of Holocaust studies in the high schools now and in the middle schools, which is very important. But let me say this is a coincidence that I'm here today. It wasn't planned. It's kind of serendipitous, but today is the International Holocaust Memorial Day all around the world. Wow. Where we observed what we call the Shoah, which is the Holocaust. So it's Yom HaShoah that we say. And that's what our observance is going to be on Sunday, April 30th, 2 o'clock at Jefferson Educational Society, 32nd and State Street.
Terrific. Yeah. So, what do you think it is about, do you think that empowering more students with this knowledge of the Holocaust will in turn lead to, just more, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, there's just an alarming also lack of education and knowledge about the Holocaust, and all the polls show that. Many people, adults and students, think that Adolf Hitler just took over the country in 1933, but he was democratically elected. And then all kinds of things happened, like the book burnings and the library bannings and the attacks on the courts and the attacks on the media and such. And as this happened, this slow but sure process, the Jews were not allowed to have their own businesses and such, and then very, very slowly we started to see then the deportations to the camps. And those were the concentration camps, which were really the death camps, in which over 6 million Jews, men, women, and children, and including a fourth of them were children who were slaughtered. So that's what we tried to do, that we have so many deniers out there today. All you have to do is go online and see in our lifetimes and see the Holocaust deniers.
It's true, but I think that what actually happened is so horrific that you can't even wrap your mind around it. Like we see footage and we learn and we read, and it's like that. How could that have ever happened?
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right, because if you say that 600 people were killed or 6,000 people were killed, you can sort of understand that. But when you throw out a figure like 6 million, it's just so staggering and that was a third of all the Jews in Europe at that time.
Right. So talk a little bit more about this speaker who, again, coming to the Jefferson Educational Society at the end of the month.
Yeah, her name is Robin Burstein.
Okay.
And she has been with the Anti-Defamation League for many, many years. She's getting ready to retire, actually. We're so happy to have her come to Erie and make this presentation. It's going to be an interactive presentation starting at 2 o'clock. We'll do a candle lighting ceremony as well for the 6 million. And also for the righteous among nations. Those are the Gentiles, the Christians who risk their lives and the lives of their families to help Jews and to help them escape the Holocaust. Yeah. And this year we're also going to light an 8th candle for the in memory of the Ukrainians who have died in the past year as well.
And what can folks do to get tickets? Is this a ticketed event?
This is free and open to the public, so you can just show up, and we look forward to seeing a big crowd. And Ms. Burstein is going to be meeting with some school administrators the next day, and also with some students the next day as well. So we're really excited about that.
So Sunday, April 30th at the Jefferson Educational Society, 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Free and open to the public.
Yeah,
Jeff, thanks for coming in. Nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you again.
Thanks for being here. I hope your event is well attended.
Yep.
It should be. When we come